In this video, I'm gonna show you how to completely retouch the skin and have this magazine model skin in your photos. This is a part of another video where I show you how I completely retouch this photo. So if you would like to watch the complete editing, I will leave the link in the description below. Hello photographer, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Silvia. I'm a specialist in the magazine style of photography. In this channel, I talk about professional editing techniques for you to make more money with photos. Now, let's get into the video. For us to start the skin retouch technique, I'm just gonna duplicate this layer twice, and for that, I just press Command J on the keyboard. I'm gonna rename the first layer here with tones, and the second layer is gonna be our texture. So the frequency separation, if you don't know, is just creating two different layers where you are separating the texture from the tones. So that means that when you're working on the tones means more the colors and the lighting, the contrast on the skin. You can mix this part without affecting the texture. So that's why the frequency separation is a really good technique for you to use on your portraits. So I'm gonna select both layers and I'm gonna press Command G and put them on a folder. And now I'm gonna rename this to Skin Retouch. Okay. And now what I'm gonna do is to apply the blur, the Gaussian blur in the tones layer. So I'm gonna go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian blur, and I'm gonna take a look at her face. And right here, you want to choose a number that it's going to blur a little bit of her skin to the point that you start seeing that the texture, you don't see as much details on it, on her skin, like the texture is a little bit disappearing. However, you don't want a really high number, like where you can see that the whole skin tone is mixed, but you don't see her face, you don't see the lines of her face, the kind of the shape of her face very well. You still want to have details on her face. So I'm gonna go back to 0, and 0 is like there's no effect here. And I'm gonna start slowing going up, and what I'm looking at is, for example, this area here, when she start removing, losing a little bit of the texture. I don't want it to lose it completely, I just want it to lose a little bit. And I think that for this photo here, this number 6 is pretty good. So I'm gonna press OK. And now I'm gonna go to the texture layer. And what we want to do is to get only what we removed from the tones layer. So in the tones layer, we removed all the bumps, like the texture, the fine details. And what we want to do is to have our texture layer just to have that details. So for that, we are going to go to Image, Apply Image. And here on Layer, we need to choose the layer where we are applying the texture layer, which layer we are applying this texture layer. So this texture layer is gonna be applied to the tones layer. So we are gonna change the layer here and choose the tones layer, that it's the layer below the texture. And now we are gonna choose the blending mode to subtract. Opacity is gonna be 100%, scale is 2, and offset is 128. So you're gonna press OK, and you're gonna see that you have gray layer that has only some details. You can see like the details of the photo. So everything that it was missing on the tones layer now is being applied in the texture layer. But we still want to see the photo like normal. So we're going to change the blending mode here of the texture layer to linear light. So right here. And now if I stop visualizing the folder Skin Retouch, we can see that the photo, nothing changed. Okay, so that's what we want to do. And to start, we are going to be working first with the tones layer. And what I like to do is to duplicate the tones layer. So I'm gonna press Command J. I'm gonna write here tones 2. And I just like to have a backup of the layer Again, in case I've done something wrong and I didn't see it and pass it and I cannot go back on the history, I have like another layer that I can always go back to. And what we want to do with the tones layer, I'm going to start visualizing the texture so I can actually see what I'm working with on the layer. What we want to do is just to blend a little bit more the different tones of her face, the difference between the lighting, that it goes from the highlights to the middle tones, and then from middle tones to the dark areas. That's the things that we want to blend. However, you don't want to remove completely her lightings and shadows on her face, because you still want her to have her contours, to have volume on her face. So we are gonna go to the brush here, and we are gonna select the mixer brush. And what this tool does, I'm just gonna show you here. I'm just blending everything that's in the photo. I'm just blending, and this is what it does. It just mix everything on the photo. It's just kind of creating a little bit of blur in your photo. So I'm gonna press Command Z here so I can go back. And what you want to do is get close. For example, I like to start, for some reason, I like to start on the forehead. So here on the forehead, I'm just gonna go in small circles. So I'm gonna press, I work with a pen. You might be working with a mouse. I don't know. If you do not have a pen, I highly recommend you to work with a pen. But this is gonna be way easier with the pen than the mouse. But the idea is for you to do a click. And I like to do a motion of a circle and then let it go. That's it. It's one motion, and then I keep doing it, another one, and another one, and another one. And let me just go back. And you can see that you start blending the tones and the skin very well. But you wanted to do something that it's soft. You don't want something that it's like this. Oopsie. That's going to be like this. When now her face is starting to look like a very fake skin. Let me show you how it looks like. So it looks weird. So let me go back here. What you want to do is just to blend small pieces of the small areas of her skin, and just take some time to do this. So for example, I can see here that she has, this part here is a little bit darker, and around we have a little bit more of a middle tone with some lighting. So I just wanna make this area a little bit softer so you don't see this weird tones and kind of like different lightings on her face. So that's what you wanna do. So I'm just gonna go on her skin, around her forehead and all of her face, kind of doing this motion with the circle. And it's something pretty light, pretty easy to do. Again, with the pen, it's easier than it would be with the mouse. And right here we have some hair. So if we go and take a look at the photo, we have some hair right here and a little bit darker skin area because of the hair. What I want to do is that I don't want this here, I don't want this part here to be that dark. So one thing that I like to do sometimes, instead of just making this circle motions, I like to bring some color of skin and add it where I want this dark area to get out. So I'm just gonna push this skin color here, and you can see that I removed the dark area. And now I'm just gonna fix a little bit of the tones on her forehead, around here close to her head, around here close to her hair. And I'm just gonna keep going now. And again, always be careful to not bring, for example, the dark areas to the highlights like this. Just be careful to still keeping her contour her shadows, the lighting. So just be careful with that. And just doing like small circles is perfect for you to mix without blending and, you know, dragging too much of the lighting and getting a lot of things wrong. Now that I'm going to the neck, there is another motion that I like to do when I'm working with the skin retouch as well. That instead of doing circles, there are some lines here. For example, I can see that there is a lighter line here from her neck that's coming from the things that we have in our neck. And I don't want to lose this volume here and ended up just making like a flat neck like this. This looks horrible and very fake. I still want to keep the vein or whatever it is that we have here on the neck. So I'm just going to go back here. Let me see. Okay. And what I like to do, because it is kind of in a straight line, instead of doing the circle movements, I would just like to go up and down. And this is already gonna make our tones to mix a little bit, and it's gonna create a softer skin for our client here. So it's just something for you to pay attention. I do a lot of like going up and down on the arms, on the legs, because I wanna keep the light of the way that the light is hitting on the legs, normally on the legs, on the arms, it's normally in a straight line. So you just want to keep that lighting there. You don't want to remove the volume of the person's body. And for example, on the nose is the same thing here. There's this lighting here, and I want to keep this lighting here. And for that, I just do like straight lines, and right here on the nose as well. I just like to keep like some straight lines. So I don't do circle all the time. The majority of the time I'm doing the circle motions. However, when I have something that it's more like in a straight line, I would do just straight lines. But it's something that I press, do up and down, and let it go. Press again, do up and down, let it go. I don't press and stay there doing like this. because then you're mixing a lot of things and start looking fake and weird. Okay. One more thing that I like to do, since I'm already using this tool, is to work a little bit on the lipstick or on the lips, and also on the eyebrow sometimes, because for example, in this case here, I can see that her eyebrow, in the beginning of the eyebrow, it doesn't have a lot of the color, it's kind of fading. So what I do is to drag the color that I have here in the middle, that's a little bit more filled and darker. So I like to bring this tone of the color a little bit to the beginning here for the eyebrow. And now I'm making this to be a little bit more filled with the color. Just like to make something that's kind of smooth, a little bit at the end here as well. And again, I'm not concerned because we are not working with the texture, so we're still gonna see the hair of her eyebrow. And I'm gonna do the same thing here to the other side, just making a little bit better transition. And also here on the lips, so I'm gonna get a little bit closer. Kind of even looks good. Just wanna mix a little bit better the tones here of the of her lips. Again, I don't want to necessarily remove the lines here that I see from that it's the shape of her lips, but I just want to try to I want to keep this. I just want to try to make, just to blend a little bit more of the color though. Okay. And it's looking better for me. Perfect. So here's the before. Let's see the before and after, only working in this tones layer. So here's the before and here's the after, before and after. We did a huge change on her skin already, just with the tones, just working with the tones. And now I'm gonna bring back the texture, and here's with the texture. So let's go closer here and see. I'm gonna get close to forehead, for the forehead, and we can see here, for example, this is the before and this is the after, before and after. Now we can see like she still have all her texture on her skin, and but it's just a better mix like of the tones, and that's why it gives a beautiful skin for her face. Many times I don't even work on the texture. I don't even fix anything unless there's something that's very, very huge here that I need to fix. But most of the times I would not do anything with the texture. I'm gonna do for this photo just to show you things that you can do to fix a little bit more of the texture, but I like to keep the texture kind of how it is, so it is a little bit more realistic and similar to what it actually is. But we can do some cleaning here as well. So with the texture, we can use the spot healing brush. I like to use a lot of this option here, where you just go through whatever it is that you wanted to remove, for example, the hair here, and there you go. You don't need to do anything. Another tool that I like to use sometimes as well is the patch tool, where I'm going to select what I want to remove, and I'm gonna drag to the area that I think that they should, that I think that Photoshop should read the material, the texture that's in here, and just reply to that place. And there we go, it disappeared as well. For this time, I think I'm just gonna go with the spot healing brush. I like to do like a small brush to grab like just the area that I want. And I'm just gonna correct a few things here on the texture. Remember that part here that I made it lighter of her hair? Here's the before and after. Let me get a little bit further away, before and after. So one thing that I can do is just to remove a little bit of the hairs in here. But I think that this is pretty good. And here's the before and after. So I don't have a lot that I would like to do here on her forehead, because I like to have this more realistic texture. But I'm just gonna go in the photo. I can remove this hair here. I'm just gonna go in the photo and try to see things that I can remove. Oh, one thing that's good as well that I can remove, it is the veins that we have in the eye. So we can do this right now. And I'm just gonna remove a few spots here, but I don't think I have a lot to remove. Another thing that I like to do as well is to work the texture on the lips. I don't like to remove, I don't do remove too much, but there are few parts here that sometimes is even from the lipstick, the texture that I like to remove. I think that for the lips, this is good. Yeah, look at the difference before and after. This is good. Okay. And I think, let me show you the eyebrow as well for us to see the difference here. Can remove these lines here. So here's the before and after with the eyebrow. You can see that, for example, this part here, the before and after is a little bit more filled with the color, but the hair is still there. It didn't remove any of the texture of the hair. So for the skin retouch, this is it. Here's the before and here's the after. Before and after. Click the like button if you like the results. If you want to know how I transformed this photo straight from the camera to the complete results of editing, you can click on the video here on the screen or click the link on the description below to watch the full video. Also, remember to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every week. For now, this is everything. I really hope this video was helpful for you. Until next time.